Hi everyone, I have some more Agotapop tinies to show you today. She sent me this selection. There are 3 pages and they are Halloween themed, which is rather fun, and so she sent them me for free to show you, and we'll colour one as well. So I've just come in a bit closer to start with. I think that's the best way. So my light's a bit glary on this paper when it's far away, but when we come in, hopefully it makes it nice and clear. And I have printed this double-sided so you can see a bit through. It's only copy paper that I've used today. I'm actually going to try colouring on the copy paper, see what happens. So we start with this really lovely witch's hat. I like the floral touch on it as well. And we have some love potion and a wish potion, I think, as well. And look at this boot, look at the heel, this little skull detail, a little spider web. It's really imaginative and such a cute cat. So we have a spell book, but behind we have, look, there's a little bone and a feather in the jar there. Some other potions, I think it's, and even some gemstones and a feather. So I'm going to turn over, start at the top of this page. Here we go. So again, we have a sort of brewing concoction, different things like mushroom and toadstools, whatever they are, poison, all sorts of interesting things going on. Oh, here we have a cauldron, which I was thinking of colouring that, but I have coloured a cauldron already, fairly recently actually. It was from her hiking set. I coloured a sort of cooking pot, so I think we won't do that. We'll do something a little bit different. So we've got some trick-or-treat goodies here. And look at these. Such an interesting idea. We've got a hat, witch's hat cake. We've got a pumpkin cake with a bat. I like that. Another pumpkin. I have coloured a lot of pumpkins as well, so I'll not be doing that one. And we have candles. And then the final page, start at the bottom, we have this sort of haunted house, which I was considering doing. We have the ghosts. Never sure how to colour ghosts when they're usually white, but so I'm not sure about that one. I think, you know, you'd have to do a background or something. We have a spell book with little moths. I'm not supposed to dragonflies, are they? Don't know. Crystal ball with sort of crystals and sticks. It's a really interesting idea. Owl with a moon. And then a sort of magical key. So I think I will do these buildings. Let's come out a tad. It's a little bit bigger, that one. Actually, I'm just going to go and get something to lean on because this desk is a bit hard. Bear with me. Right, I got a book to lean on. So here we go. It's just having a think. Now we have got the, I think I'm going to start with things that I know what I'm doing with, and then we'll think. See, I'm not sure whether I want to colour inside the windows with a sort of yellow, like there's a light inside, or whether it would be black in there and sort of more spooky. But we'll do the tree branches. I think we'll go for a really dark brown. I've got my Staedtler pencils because this is 77. It's a tobacco brown. I'm just going to grab my list of names. Because these pictures are quite small. I do like colouring the small pictures, but it does mean you need to be able to keep your pencil nice and sharp, and these are very good for that. So I'm just going to go through all the branches and colour them with the tobacco brown. I'm just going to do some plain colouring here because they are very narrow. But I'm thinking a little bit about the fact that I like how they're reaching out as if they're fingers. Quite spooky. We've got a sort of dark sky going on behind here, and so these would be quite lost almost because they're also quite dark. So I need to have a little think about that. What would you do? You could put some shine on them as if the moon, because we have a moon over here, as if the moonlight is just catching the edges, which could help them to stand out a little bit. Excuse me. Or we could, I'm very hoarse this morning, I don't know why, or we could do it so the sky isn't black, and then it's, sorry, I really should have paused that, I'm sorry. So that we could do it so the sky isn't black, and then it'll sort of show up a little more. So I'll have a think about what's the best approach, really. Gosh, it's Monday morning. I never put, this won't go out on a Monday because it's planner day. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Agatha sent me these over the weekend, I think. Was it on Friday? Not sure. And I've been wanting to get on and do them and have a look at them in more detail and have a go at one because they're cool, aren't they? Really good. But had a bit of a stressful morning. Of course, this week the trains are potentially getting delayed because we have the train workers are not doing overtime. I'm just looking at this wooden door. I think I'm going to do a little pale colour first. 73 is the burnt sienna. Can you... Sorry, I could just hear something. Don't know what it was. Use that on the door first. And it's quite pale, I know. I'm going to put some darker brown on top. But I just want a sort of base first. Anyway, yes, so the train drivers are striking. We're striking on Saturday and striking on Wednesday. But they're not doing overtime, which means that some trains can't run because there's not enough staff. So I'm going back to my 77 now. I'm going to do a dark edge around the door. I know I'm covering up what I've just done. It might seem silly, but hopefully it will start to make sense and just bring some down like that. So not all the trains are running, so got up, thought, oh, this all looks good. Nice, no cancellations, trains all ran well yesterday, it's all good. And then suddenly my son's train says, no, cancelled. Fortunately, the beginning part of the journey was cancelled and the end part was just slightly delayed, so he managed to get in the end, but it was like panic station. Okay, I think this looks a bit like a pumpkin now. I don't know why I think that, but there we go, it doesn't matter. Now, let's have a think. We've got roof. Let's do a greyish roof, which is the colour I tend to do roofs anyway. There's a little mark on the paper there. I don't know if it's a flaw in the paper or if it's a... I'm just going to grab an eraser, see if I can get rid of that. No, okay, it's just a flaw in the paper. It may disappear as we colour, in the sense, you know, it sort of fade back. What should we do? Let's do... I'm quite liking the idea of doing a slightly lighter grey. So I'm going to go for 80, which is actually our light grey. Oops, sorry. Here we go. And we've got lots of different roof pieces. And I'm just going to do them all with a layer of this. So similar to how we did the door, I'm just going to get started with a layer and then add another colour after. I'm just sharpening it a bit. So yeah, so my other son's train was okay. They could get the same train, but he chooses to get one that's slightly later, which means he doesn't have to hang around as long, which makes sense, but it's too late for my other boy because he has to go on a stop and it takes too long. So anyway, I just want to brush that away. Anyway, so he got on okay in the end. Trains were both a bit late, but they got there on time. It was all good. Already, my one son's return train has been cancelled. Now, this happened on Friday as well, and he can get the train after, but he has to change, and husband's really worried about him changing and whatever, so he's gonna fetch him, I think, pick him up at the end of the day, which will be nice for him. He won't have to walk to the station, and he can get picked up, because fortunately my husband works in the same town that the one boy is goes to uni, so it's and I just have to go across town. It's a bit of a pain. He wouldn't want to do it every day. But right, so we've got a base of light grey. It's a bit too light, isn't it? So I'm going to go for the number 8, which is called Grey. Very imaginative names, but at least you know what you're doing with it. It's quite a purpley grey, silvery grey. And I'm going to go in here and put, I think there'd be some shadow where they're overlapping, but I also want to put just generally a bit darker anyway. I'm thinking maybe it'd be darker at the bottom and a bit lighter going up towards the top. I've actually completely covered the light grey there. It wasn't my intention, just how it worked out. Down here, I'll just fade it up a bit. I'm thinking the tops might be a bit lighter because of that moonlight on them. And with this one, I'm just going to make it darker down here. I'm going to just cover that in. That's funny, isn't it? Is this an old church, do we think? Don't know. Could be. Now I'm still trying to brush away that little bit. Don't worry, that isn't on the file. These are a PDF. It's not on there. It was on my paper. So these PDFs are available on Etsy. There's a link in the description to Agotapop's Etsy shop, and she's offering anyone who buys them through my link a 10% discount, which is rather nice. And so the link has that incorporated into it, and the 10% discount applies to any of her products, not just these particular Halloween ones. So if there are any that you like, that's somewhere to something to think about. I think I'm going to do this bit too. The good thing about a PDF file, although I know a lot of people like books, I do too. If Agatha made a book, I'd have it. But the good thing about PDFs is once you paid for it, you can print it off many times and you can pick your own paper. So obviously there are advantages there. Now the window frames I want to do in black. I don't have, oh, hang on. We've got a bit over the window here which we need to do. This is back to our number 8. Let's do that one because we did the same as that one and this one. But yeah, the actual frames I feel like I want to do in black. I've lost my black from my Staedtler Design Journey set. I don't know where it's gone. So I'm going to use my Agotapop instead, which is number 9. It's the same colour. And just, this is just going to be blocked in dark, you know. And I've just thought, I hadn't decided if I was going to do inside the windows black or yellow. They're not going to be black now, are they? Not with a black outline. Oh, that was a bit messy, wasn't it? I'm also trying to think about what to do with this sort of render on the outside of these houses, because we've got a bit of brick showing through and then as if the outside of the house is coming off, you know. So I'm not sure. But, you know, we could do it really colourful, but it's Halloween. What do we do? We could do some brick colour. I don't know if we've got much of a brick colour in this set. Yeah, right, that's that. Now, I'm just looking that we've got a chimney. I'm just thinking about just doing that. I want it to look a little bit metallic. I'm just going to tidy up that bit there. And then notice that I haven't done that window. There we go. I think I'm going to use number 8 and use it really carefully and trying to make this look like it's a sort of tin type thing going on. So dark here and then lighter. I want some shine. I'm going to make the shine nearest to the top like that. Same on this bit. all the way through. And if this is fairly dark, it would silhouette more against the moon. So that's why I'm making sure that whole edge is done, and we'll just leave the shine in the middle there. There we go. We might as well do Mr. Bat while we're here. I'm actually going to do him with this colour. This is 85. This is a warm grey. I'm going to do Bat with that first, and then put some black on after. Because I feel that we could do Bat completely black, but it's quite nice to just add in. I'm just going to sharpen this black, you know, put a few shades in. So this is number 9 again, and I'm thinking around the edge of the body there'd be some shadow, and then where the lines are, there he is. So he's not completely black, adding a little bit at the bottom. He's a bit more colourful. Well, if you can call grey colour. And I haven't done the window frame on here. There's so many little elements. I do need to think about that light though, but I am jumping about all over the place because I'm just doing bits as I think of what colour to do them. I think I'll do the window light next, and then it will help me decide on the building colour a little better. I'm probably going to do, I'm thinking this colour. This is number 10, it's the light yellow, and it's a sort of colder colour. I think that might be a bit less welcoming than a nice warm orangey yellow. I mean, you can do it however you feel will work, but I think this might be a little bit different. I need to colour that little piece of wood there. But I'm doing them all pretty much the same. I've gone out of the lines on that one, which might be a bit annoying later, but never mind. Just realised I haven't had any breakfast. I'm a bit hungry. I was stressed this morning getting the boys out the door, and there was so much to do because I was looking at bus alternatives and trying to get husband out of bed in case he needed to take my son and all that sort of thing. Our son, I should say. And so I didn't, this is 73, I had some fruit, but I didn't have any cereal. So I'm beginning to feel a bit hungry. I might have some cereal a bit later. So I'm going to do these the same as I did the door. So with a layer of 73 and then a layer of 77, the tobacco brown. Well, not a layer, some lines. You'll need it quite sharp if you want to see those individual lines on there. Doesn't look so pumpkin-like. Okay, now house. We don't have a natural brick colour. I'm wondering about the peach a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we've got this peach. What colour is the mortar between the bricks going to be? Is it going to be darker or lighter than the bricks? Probably lighter. I'm sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Or in fact, my whole video I'm talking to myself, I suppose. Doesn't make any difference. This is number 43, which is our peach. And I'm going to do that for this area in between these bricks. It's quite pale. I might decide to change it up a bit after, but I'm hoping it will work. Because often the sort of mortar between bricks is a lighter colour. And I'm thinking here too. In there. And then around these. I didn't do that across. Oh, sorry, the phone rang. You may have heard it in the background, and so I've lost complete track of what I was saying. But it was a scam call a sort of robot voice pretending that I'd made some transfers on my card and that they were fraudulent and I needed to press a button or something to cancel it. Oof, dislike those calls so much. Right, I am going to have a go at using this for some bricks. This is 72. It's called Dark Sand. It is a little bit too dark. So I'm going to put a little bit down on each brick. So I'm barely touching the paper. Oh, there's some up there. I'm very scatty today, aren't I? Distracted and not noticing what's going on. So let's do these. We'll come back with the peach in a bit. And then these. And the plan is to go over the top of them with something a little bit paler. I'm just going to grab this. Is the 43 again to do the mortar up here. Yeah, we'll do a little something on top of them. I'm wondering whether to go for the... I think the fawn might be the way to go, which is the 49. Where's that? Where is it? Oh, here it is. 49. And I'm just going to go over each brick. Now sometimes bricks have black areas on them. They're not always, you know, the same colour, but I think I'm just going to leave them simple because they're quite small. And I've got quite a lot of black going on anyway. I think it might just look a little bit odd. Yeah, I thought that might have been husband ringing to see if the children had got into their classes okay. But he gets like, he worries and worries about us, and then as soon as he gets to work his focus entirely changes to work, which I suppose is how it should be really. Now, our actual building. I'm tempted to use this fawn, actually. I think I will. 49 fawn. I'll try it. It's quite pale, isn't it? I'm not sure whether it's not really very spooky. But maybe I'll put something over the top of it. I think it definitely needs to be a little bit darker. But I'll just persevere with this first because we want it to sort of match. And you don't have to do each of these little bits the same colour if you don't want to. I just like the idea of doing them the same. I like that this one's at a jaunty angle. It's makes it look more sort of old and dilapidated, as if that bit's falling off, doesn't it? So, I've never been in a haunted house. I'm just thinking about it. Or a house that anyone said is... Oh, I have. But it was daytime. There were lots of people there and I don't believe in it anyway. But it was perfectly fine. I wasn't at all frightened. But then, as I say, it was daytime and there were lots of people there. But no, I think it's all a nonsense. Apparently there's a certain frequency of sound that if we hear it, it scares us. And 76, sometimes things and places have that sound, which is very difficult for us to hear. And it just makes us feel on edge. I'm using this really gently, so I don't want the house to look brown. Really, I just want it to look a little bit darker. Now under the roofline here we need a shadow, so I can actually put this in a bit darker. And down here we can just extend that a little bit. I think that's okay. It's giving it a bit of a dirty look, which actually is perfect for a dilapidated old house, isn't it? I think anyway. So And actually, when I used to walk along the canal path, there was a certain company, a factory along there, and they had an air conditioning unit that would put out a noise at that frequency, and it used to freak me out. As I walked by, I would feel like someone was following me. It was really strange. They've changed it now, which is not good, so you don't get that feeling anymore when you walk past. The tone of the noise is just different, which is good. And they sort of use that in scary movies and things as well, to make you feel scared. Some people like being scared. I don't. I don't understand it, but you know, I know people do it. But no one's explained to me why they like it. So that's why I don't really understand it. I don't think it would make me want to feel scared, but you know, sometimes it's nice for people to sort of tell you what's the attraction. You know, is it the relief that once you know it's not scary, that sort of dopamine rush afterwards of knowing, safe, yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't even like watching films where there's fights or things like that, or you know, someone's being chased, or it just gets my adrenaline too high. I don't like it. But yeah, we're all different. My children don't like films either, really, very much at all, actually. But then they're a TikTok generation, so although they don't watch TikTok, they watch YouTube shorts and things, so their attention span isn't really long enough to watch a full-length film. I wonder whether, as our children get older, whether films won't be so popular because kids just don't want to sit and watch something that long. I find I struggle to find the time myself to do that. I'm quite liking that colour now. It's sort of looking dirty and messy and ugh, which is nice. I'm going to get a black and do some shadows and shading. This is 9, the black pencil. So where the things overlap here, there'd be a shadow, and I put a little bit in, but I'm going to emphasise it with the black all the way down there, and then just on every edge really, under the roofs. My poor son's been trying to open a student bank account for months, and he's had a letter today from the bank, one of the banks he applied to. I'm really hoping it's some good news for him, because now there would be some shadow inside here because this render is on the outside of the brick, so it's peeled off, and this is sort of inside. Yeah, he hasn't got ID because his provisional license, driving license, hasn't come through because of his health. Medical questionnaire has to be processed. I'm going to sort of spread that about a bit, make it look messy. So he has been unable to open accounts with quite a few banks because they need photo ID, which he doesn't possess. It's been really annoying, to be honest, that we just can't do it. Right, next, sky. Now, I don't want our sky to look really black, as I said already, so I think we need to have a look at what other colours. Just I am just going towards pink and purple. I think it looks rather nice. So this is 61. This is the dark mauve, I think it's called. Yeah. And I'm going to use this for a base, and then I'm going to add some other colours into my sky. Now I'm going to try to not make it look too liney. It's hard to know where to stop on this bit. I'm just going to go to the edge of that branch there. What I'm going to do is add some darker colours to this after, but have a nice base of this pretty pink colour It's not very Halloweeny, is it? But that's okay, I think. Let's just make it pretty. The bottom of that tree is annoying me. I haven't quite coloured it all the way to the roof. There we go. And we don't have to worry about making the edges of the tree shiny now, because they're going to still show up even when I put the darker colours on, because as I say, we're probably not going to use black. Now you could just sort of try and fade this out, the sky, or you can sort of do an edge to it. I find it easier to do an edge and to fade it. Plus we've got the next picture quite close by. Sorry, I was making that very blurred. So I think I'll just take it to a natural edge. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it does. I'm just replying to my son, who's telling me they're still doing week 1 work, even though it's week 2, because she's going so slowly. He's finding it very annoying, but I've tried to explain to him they have to let everybody else catch up, you know. So he gets very bored. But I think he isn't really thinking it through, you know, compared to having really hard work, and you know, maybe it's good. Now we've got these dots right out here, so I'm going to come right out to there. We've got to come up to the edge of the top of this bit anyway. Now backgrounds are quite tricky. I'm not going to pretend they're not, particularly with pencil. So you could have done this with a soft pastel. It'd be a bit easier in some ways, but trying to keep it off the moon would be quite hard. You could of course go over the moon and then put a white pen on top or something. I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to colour the moon in or leave it white yet, to be honest. See, look how we're sort of coming to a natural curve here. So I suppose I could have drawn round something. It's like the shape of a protractor, isn't it? To get a good shape. But I think it's okay. I'm not too worried about it being perfectly neat. As always, really. Just trying to get around these little details. And then we've got the moon, which is... I'm thinking about the moon. I'm thinking I could do it with a silver pen. Just make it silver. Should be rather attractive. I'm going under now. Or I could leave it white. Or I could colour it in a very pale blue. Like there's a pastel blue in this set of pencils I could use. I haven't done that cross, have I? Is it black? I think so. Are they black? I think they're black. There we go. It might be dark grey. I might have messed that up. Well, it looks fine to me anyway. So yeah, my one son has got his very first proper week this week, because he had 2 weeks of induction. So I hope he's learning some good stuff. They're doing quite basic stuff because he's doing accountancy. I think they're doing double entry bookkeeping and things like that, which I know how to do, but I don't use it when I keep my books. I do mine in a much more simple way. I figure that as long as it's done in a way that I know everything is done properly and it's all noted down, then it doesn't really matter. My business isn't very complex, so it doesn't need a complex method of keeping the books, you know. So now I'm sort of thinking we've got a nice curve going around here, and then here it goes a bit flat. Thinking, let's try and just bring it round a bit, like that. It's got to come into there. There we go. not perfect. Doesn't matter. It looks okay now to me. Now my next colour, I'm going to go dark and do the sort of edge, the lower bit. So I think this outside should be the lightest bit. So we're nearly done. And then, now you could take your darkest colour to black. I'm going to use the violet, I think it's called, number 6. Yes, violet. And I'm going to do down at the bottom here, just sort of fade it a bit. You're not going to get a million layers. I'm not going to get a million layers on this copy paper, but I think I'll just get enough to help you see a little bit of difference in colour between the top and bottom, which is what I'm looking for. Probably just a bit there. Just looking to see, I haven't got a silver pen in here with me, but I think that would be the right option. So I may have to scoof next door and get it. Scoof being a proper word, obviously. Right, so we've got a little bit of darker area around. I'm going to, shall I use that? I think I'm going to go, oops, oops, back to my number 61. And now I'm going to colour over this bit and try and sort of get a nice fade on it if I can, so that the edge is a bit lighter, not this edge actually here, quite close to the buildings and trees and things, but here, and I can start to think about just fading it a bit towards the edge. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more even. And if you're doing this with a soft pastel, it would be a lot quicker and easier. But I'm not. And it's not too slow. I'm just trying to make it look a bit neater, really. And I'm having fun. So I wonder whether everyone's got things planned for Halloween yet. I found out it's a Tuesday. Now what we normally do on Halloween is close all the curtains and turn all the lights out so it looks like we're out. Because we've had our house egged before because we didn't answer the door because I didn't have any goodies. I don't like doing trick or treat. There's a number of reasons for it. One of them, I'm not going to go into it all, but one of them is that I really feel that we shouldn't be eating lots of sugar and sweets and things, and people say, oh, it's just once a year, but it is. But, you know, it's sort of, I don't like it. Anyway, that's one reason. There are others. So we usually basically close the house up, shut the curtains, turn the TV down or off, and hide. But I can't do that this year because it's, as I said, I think it's a Tuesday. I'm just looking on my calendar, which is still on September. Ooh, I can turn it. Let's have a look. Yes, it's a Tuesday. My son will be late at college, so we won't be able to hide. I'm going to sharpen the violet again and just add a tiny bit more in a few places. I don't need it to be really, really even, I don't think. It's number 6. But I just want to put a little bit extra in a few places if my paper will allow me. I think it might, especially with it being a bit sharper. Yeah, it's my niece's birthday, Halloween. We always used to have a Halloween birthday party, and she used to like people dressing up, but one of my sons would, my other one wouldn't. He just didn't like dressing up, so he didn't. One year my mum made all the kids a little mask. He wore that, just a lie mask, you know, and I think they were cats or bats or something, little stickers on. He enjoyed that. But he's never liked dressing up. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I think it looks rather nice. I like it anyway. But we haven't done the door handle. I'm thinking maybe just a black for that. So number 9. And our moon. I am going to go and get a silver pen. Hold on. You know what? I completely changed my mind while I was getting the pen. And I've decided instead of silver, I'm actually just going to do it in a glitter, because I really like the whiteness of it. And if I put silver on it, the gel will turn it grey. So I'm going to use a glitter pen instead and just put some shiny glitter on it. And I think it gives it a nice magical look. Bear with me, I'm concentrating. My tongue is sticking out of my mouth as I colour. And we're nearly there. And I'm thinking that I'm going to use this. Do you remember I said about the edges of the trees, wanting to make them stand out? Well, I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I'm going to put a little bit on the tops of the trees to make it look like they're slightly reflecting the moonlight. Now you may not be able to see this because of the way, and on the top of each roof it might look a bit frosty, but that might not be wrong, because actually it can sometimes be frosty on Halloween, although sometimes it's really hot. Now I would put it on the edge of the chimney, but obviously there's no point, because on the top of those little bits, because it's actually in the moon anyway. And then on this side, so you sort of want it to be shiny on the top or on the where the moon. Think about where the moonlight would hit the tree. You don't need to be massively accurate. It's only a little picture. There we go. And then the dots in the sky I'm going to do in white, so I'm not going to use that silver at all. I'm just going to find my white. I've got a white Posca here that I think I use. It's the PC1MR. I'm going to make the dots significant. Some of them are a bit small, but I'm thinking that they need to show up. I just put my hand in some glitter pen then. Oops, never mind. Looks a bit like snow now, but hopefully not too snowy looking. There we go. So if I turn it towards the camera, you can hopefully see the glitter on there. So there it is. Oh, I enjoyed doing that one. Thank you, Agata, for sending me that. That was such fun. Yeah, we sort of encroached on our ghosties, but I think that's okay. Anyway, that's me. So thank you for watching. As I say, in the description is the link to Agata's Etsy shop with the 10% discount code. So if you fancy these or any of her sets, go and have a little look. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.